गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपितजम्बो फलचारभक्षणम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारकं नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पारपङ्कजम्। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरा गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधार वरनो रघुवर विमल यश साधक फलचार बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार भल बुद्धि विद्या देह मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार। राम रामाय भद्राय रामचंद्राय भेदसे श्री रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताय पतिये नमः। प्रभु श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। Open with Ramayana Sumiran, as I said, the first shlok of the Ramcharitmanas. Please forgive us for any mistakes that we may make. Here we go. जो सुमिरत सिद्धि हो गणनायक करिवर भदना ग्रह सो बुद्धि राशि सब गुण सधना मोहे होई वरचार बंधु चहे दीवर भदना जासु कृपा सुधया द्रवहु सकल कलिमल दहना नील सरोरहुषा तरुण वारिजनयना करहु सुममा पुरधा सखा चीर सागर सजना कुंदिंदु समधे कुमार मन करुणायन जाहि दीन परने करहु कृपा मरघन मयन बंधु गुरु पधका कृपा सिंधु नररूप हरि महामोह गंग जासु वचन बलि कर नर। श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम, जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम. We'll do offering of one bhajan, Ram bhajan, by the boys, and then I will start with the first chaupai. भजले राम राम राम, भजले राम राम राम, इससे बड़ा नहीं कोई राम, इससे बड़ा नहीं कोई राम, भजले राम राम 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 राम, भजले राम Okay, thank you, boys. So we'll be reading from Sundarkanda, and Sundarkanda is made up of 60 chaupais, I think 59 dohas, 3 chands, 1 shloka which I need some more practice on, and I believe that is it. It contains the beautiful
song of prostration to Hanuman Baba and his devotion throughout to Prabhu Sri Ram. His devotion is unconditional. His devotion is beyond doubt. And throughout the Ramcharitmanas, particularly in Sundarkanda, the Chaupais and Dohas and so forth explain exactly why. So again, pardon me for any mistakes in pronunciation, in tone, or any other such things today. We will try to keep it to under 145 minutes, but let's see how good we do. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Sorry, just give me a second. जामवंत के भजन सुहाई, सुनी हनुमंता हृदय अति भाई। तब लगी मोही पर कहूँ तुम भाई, सही धुक तंदा मूला फल खाई। जब लगी आवम सीता ही देखी, होही काजु मोही हर सभी सेसी। अस कही नाही सभानि कहु माता, चले हरसी हियधारी रघुनाथा। सिंधु तीर एक भूधर सिंधुरा, कतु कतुधि चरेयुत उपारा। बार बार रघुबीर संभारी, तरकयु पवन बलि भारी। जहि गिरि चरण देई हनुमंता, चले ओ सोगा पाल तल तरंता। जिमि ओ मोद रघुपति करबाना, एहि भक्ति चला हनुमाना। जल निधि रघुपति धूत विचारी, तै में नाक कोई संहारी। हनुमान तेहि परसा कर, पुनि कीन्हा प्रणाम। हो रामा पुनि कीन्हा प्रणाम। राम काज कीन्ही भिनो, मोहि कहम बिसराम। सियापति रामचंद्र जी की जय। शरणम शंकर हरि ओम, जय जय सिया Ram. So Hanuman is going on his journey and standing on the shores of south of India, thinking about all of the good words and heartening speech of Jambavan. He says to his brothers, wait here for me, my brothers. However great the discomfort may be, whatever you have to feed on, bulbs, roots, fruits, whatever your food, wait here till I see Sita Mahan come. The task will be accomplished at only that time. So saying, Hanuman Baba bowed to them all and set out full of joy with the image of Prabhu Shri Ram enshrined in his heart. So is his devotion, his focus on Prabhu Shri Ram. Nothing is impossible. He stood on the seashores on the majestic hill, and as if having a run in sport, he just invoked the name of Raghuvir. The son of the wind leapt into with a mighty bound. The hill on which Hanuman had planted his foot sank at once down into the nethermost world. So is his strength, so is his determination. Hanuman, like Raghunath's own unerring shaft, sped off. And so continues as his journey starts, knowing him to be Raghunath's messenger, his envoy. The ocean bade Mainak to relieve him of his fatigue, thinking that he would be exhausted, he would be tired. And Mainak was told, don't hide, rise higher and higher so that you can provide some rest to Hanuman Baba. But Hanuman, in his determined form and his determination, he only touched the mountain with his hand and then made obeisance unto Mainak, saying, how can I rest before I have done Prabhu Shri Ram's business? And we continue with Chaupad. Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Rama Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Jata Pavan Sutta Devan Dheka, Janin Kahum Bal Buddhi Bhisesa, Surasa Nama Ahin Kai Mata, Pata Inhi Ai Kahi Tehi Bata, Aju Surana Mohi Dina Ahara, Sunata Bhajan Kah Pavan Kumara, Ram Kaj Kari Piri Mai Avam, Sita Kai Sudhi Prabhu Hi Sunavam, Taba Taba Bhadana Paiti Kau Ai, Satya Kahu Mohi Jan Dhemai, Kavane Hu Jatan Dei Nahi Jana, Brasasina Mohi Kahe Hanumana, Jo Jan Bhari Tehi Badan Upasara, Kapitanu Kinha Tugana Pistara, Sorah Jojana Mukadhehi Thayeyu, Turata Pavana Sutta Pati Sabhayeyu, Jasa Jasa Surasa Padhanu Bharava, Tasudhuna Kapirupa Dekava, Satajo Janatehi Anana Kinha, Atila Guru Papavana Sutalina, Badhana Paiti Puni Bahare Ava, Magadidha Tahi Siru Nava, Mohi Surahana Jehi Lagi Pata Pava, Buddhi Bala Maramu Tora Mai Pava. Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Rama Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama. राम काज सब करहु तुम बल बुद्धि निधान, आशीष देई गई सो हरसि चले हनुमान, ओ रामा हरस चले हनुमान. So he continues, When the gods saw that the son of the wind sweeping along, they wished to try his almighty strength. They wanted to tempt him to see how deep his devotion was and how smart he was as well. And remember, he's Bala Buddhi Vidya, right? Bala Buddhi Vidya, remember that. So they sent Surasa, the mother of the serpents, who came and said, "Today the gods have given me a sublime meal." Upon hearing these words, the son of the wind replied, "When I shall perform, only when I have performed Ram's commission and return and give my lord the news about Sita, only then I will enter into your mouth. I tell you the truth, O Mataji. Only let me go now." But when she would not let him go on any account, Hanumanji said, "Then why not swallow me?" So now this is smarts coming into play. She opened her jaws full in this version of Ramcharitmanas. She said 3 leagues. I think 3 leagues is 3 miles. And so I'll try to convert as we go. She opened her jaws 9 miles wide, but Hanuman made his body twice as broad. She stretched him out to a breadth of 50 leagues now, so 50 or 150 miles. But Hanumanji at once became 100 leagues in width, so that's now 300 miles. However much Sarusa expanded her jaws, Hanumanji displayed a form twice as large and large again and again. But when at last she made her mouth 300 leagues, so 900 miles, Hanuman assumed a very minute form. He crept into her mouth and out again, bowing his head, as he always did, in prostration, begged leave to proceed. "I have gauged the extent of your wit and strength." So he passed the test, said Sarusa. And it was to this end that the gods had sent me. She blessed him. "You will carry out all that Prabhu Shri Ram has commanded, for in you dwells such might and wisdom." Having blessed him thus, she departed, and Hanumanji joyfully resumed his journey. Jai Ram Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Nisachari ek Sindhu Mahurai, Karai Maya Nabuke Kadhadhai. Jiva Jantu Je Gagana Urahim, Jala biloki tinna kai perichahim, Gah ichah sakaso na urai, Ehi bhidi sadha gagan charakhai. Soi chala Hanumana kaham kina, Tasu kapatu kapitaratu tahi china, Tahi mari maruta subrata bira, Baridhi para yayo matadhira. Taham jai dekhi bhana sobha, Gunjata chamcharika madhu lobha, Nanakaru palapula suhai, Kagam rekda brimda dekhi manabhai. Saila bisala dekhi ek agi, Taparadhai charayu bhaya tyagi. Umana chakachu kapikai adhakai, Prabhu pratap jo halahi kai. Giri parachari lamkate hi deki, Kahi na jai Ati durga bisesi, Ati utanga jalaniti chahumpasa, Kanakota kara parama prakasa. Jai Ram Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama. And so, continuing on his journey, Hanumanji on the oceans says that there dwelt a demon in the ocean who by magic caught the birds of the air. People would really think that is magic, but the Ramcharitmanas is capturing a time when gods walked the earth. So things that would happen are not magical, but reality. Seeing the water and the reflection of the creatures that she flew through the sky, this is how she would be able to capture them. She would catch their shadowy forms so that they would not fly away. And in this manner, she always had birds to feast on. She practiced the same craft and trickery on Hanumanji, but he saw through it immediately. Again, such a smart that he had, such the wisdom and knowledge that Hanumanji had. He, steadfast and valiant, slew her easily and continued on his journey across the ocean. And reaching the far shores of the sea, he gazed on the loveliness of the woods, with the bees buzzing in their greed for honey. Trees of every kind, this is now when he is on the shores of Lanka. Trees of every kind, all resplendent with fruit and flowers, looked charming, and there were a multitude of birds and beasts delighted to behold. Such is the poetry of the Ramcharitmanas. They describe what Hanumanji is seeing when he gets to Lanka. Such a rich and lofty place. And as he continued on, he fearlessly sprang on the top of a hill that he saw. Now, Shivji is observing from the heavens, and he said to Parvati, he says, "O Uma, was not all at all the monkey's own special virtue. It was all attributed to the glory of the Lord, who devours death himself. Mounted on the hill, here Hanuman surveyed Lanka, a most marvelous fortress that defied description." It just goes to show that, all that things seen and all of the bright and glimmer and glitter, as they say, is not necessarily good. Great to observe, enjoyable, but not necessarily good. It was a very high, and it was enclosed by the ocean on all sides. This is the fortress of Ravan, with gold shed great luster and round. By Besha. Kanaka kota bichatra manikrita sundharayatana gana cha uhata hata subhata bitim charupura bahu bidibana gajabajaka chara nikara padachara lata baruta nikogane bahurupa nisachara juta atibala Sena baratana nahi bane bana baga pupa bhatika sarakupa bhapim sohahim naranaga suragam dharba kanya rupa muni manamohahim kahumala deha bisala saila samana atibala garjahim nanana akarane Birahim barubidhi ekatar jahim karijatana bata koti nabikatatana nagara chahumadisa rasahim rakshahim kahumahisa manusadenu karaja ajakala nisa charabakshahim ehilagi Tulsidas inaki Kata kachu ek he kahi Raghubhira sarati ratasi sarirani tyagi gatipai hahim sahi. And the Chand continues to explain or describe in very poetic form gold and white ramparts inlaid with gems of various kinds and contain splendid mansions, squares and bazaars, well-planned streets and lanes and all of the other accessories of a fine city. So even back in those days, the city of the city of Lanka was endowed with such riches. Who could count the multitudes of elephants, horses, mules, the crowds on foot, soldiers and chariots, and the troops of demons in every shape, a formidable host beyond all description. And here Hanumanji is observing what Prabhu Shri Ram and his consort will come to face when they get to Lanka. And now he goes in, he continues on exploring groves and orchards and gardens and parks, lakes and wells, big and small, all charming to behold, daughters of men and serpents and gods, enraptured with their beauty, the soul of a sage. Here mighty wrestlers of monstrous stature, like mountains, roared, like thunder, and grappled with one another in many an arena, and closed and challenged one another with shouts of mutual defiance. And so, again, he's trying to assess what is there in Lanka. And he's seeing riches, he's seeing armies, he's seeing these armies of demons, he's seeing warriors who are training and so forth. And now he's conjuring in his mind what message he has to take back. So he's recording all of these things. Myriads of champions of frightful forms diligently guard the city. Now he's looked at the armies. Now he's looking at the structure. He's looking at how things are shaped and how things are protected. Myriads of champions of frightful forms diligently guard the city on all four sides. Elsewhere, evil demons are feasting on buffaloes and all sorts of different meat and flesh. Tulsidas, in this case, has told their story in brief, as it says here in this chant, because they will drop their bodies at the holy shrine of Prabhu Shri Ram's shaft, meaning his arrow, and will assuredly find salvation. And it shows here, even though one may be consumed in all of these things, if you are privileged and you, in this case here, can pass on from this world through Prabhu Shri Ram's grace, then you shall for sure attain salvation or moksha. We'll continue on with Doha. Kavare dehi bahu kapi manakin habichar atila guru padaru misa nagara karum pa isarahu Rama nagara karum pa isara siyapati Ramachandra ji ki jai sharanam shankar hari om jai jai siya Ram. Jai Ram Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Jai Ram Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Masaka samana rupa kapidhari, lamka hi chale sumira narhari. Nama lamkini ek nisachari, सो कह चले सी मोही निंदारी जाने ही नहीं मरमु सत मोरा मोरा आहार चाहम लगी कोरा मतु की मूर्ति कायक मोह कपी हानि रुधिर बम तब धरनी धर्मामी. Let me say that again. रुधि भमता धरनी धनमानी पुनि संभारी उति सोलंका जोरी पानी कर विनय ससंका जब रावण ही ब्रह्मा भर दीना चलत बिरम चिकहा मोहि चीना बिकल हो सीतईम कपति के मारे तब जाने सुनि सचर समधारे। तात मोर अति पुण्य बहुता, देखे हूँ नय राम कर दूता। जय राम श्री रामा, जय जय रामा, श्री राम जय राम, जय जय रामा। तात स्वर्ग अपभर्ग सुख, दरहि तुल एक तुलन तहि सकल मिल जो, सुकल वस सत संग। सियापति रामचंद्र जी की जय, शरणम शंकर हरिओम, जय जय सिया राम। So seeing Centennial's God in the city, he thought to himself, I must be very unassuming, very tiny. And of course, Hanuman ji has these special powers to get to a very large size to a very small size. So Hanuman ji assumed a form as small as a mosquito. And invoking Prabhu Shri Ram, he headed towards Lanka. At the gateway lived a female demon by the name of Lankini, who called out to him, "Where should you be going without recognizing me?" And Hanumanji says, "You fool." No, this is Lankini saying, sorry. "You fool, don't you know my practice, that every thief hereabouts is my food?" The mighty monkey struck her with such a blow with his fist that she toppled down, exuding blood. As she recovered, Lankini stood up and, folding her hands in dismay, made her humble petition. "When Brahma granted Ravan his boon, he spoke to me and gave me a sign before he left. He said, when you get knocked down by a blow from a monkey, know that it will be all over with the demon race. I must have earned great merit, friend, that I have been rewarded with the sight of Prabhu Shri Ram's envoy or messenger. In one scale of the balance, my friend, put together all the joys of heaven and the bliss of liberation, but they will not outweigh the joy derived from a moment's communication with the saints." And again, it just reiterates, Hanuman Baba is a messenger of God, of Prabhu Shri Ram. And even the worst demons who have done all of these things in a very demonic way for their entire lives can find salvation and moksha. This is the second example of that. Continue with Chopad. Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. प्रभि नगर किए सब काजा, हृदय राखी कौशलपुर राजा। गरल सुधा रिपु करिए मिताई, गोपद सिंधु अनल शीतलाई। गरुरा सुमीर रेणु समताई, राम कृपा करि चितव जाई। अति लघु रूप धरऊ हनुमाना, पैत नगर सुमीर भगवाना। मंदिर मंदिर प्रति करि शोधा, धिक जाहम तहम अगणित जोधा। गाई उदसानन मंदिर माहिम, अति विचित्र कही जात सोनाहिम। सायकी मधिक कपिते ही, मंदिर महुनती की भय देही। भवन एक पुनिधि कर सुहावा, Hari Mandir Taham Deen Banawa. Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Rama Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. And so Lankini gives Hanuman Baba her blessings after she realizes who he is. She says, enter the city with the Lord of Ayodhya enshrined in your heart and accomplish all your business. Poison becomes nectar. Foes turn friends. The ocean shrinks to a mere puddle. Fire is made cool. On Mount Sumera, O Garuda, a grain of dust for him on whom Rama sheds his glance of grace. Hanuman assumed a very tiny form and invoking Prabhu Shri Ram entered the city. Again, she is just explaining how grateful, how blessed she is to have been in the presence of someone who is a mission, a messenger, part of the envoy of Prabhu Shri Ram. He went through searching now. He's going through the mansions. He saw countless warriors here, there, and then he made his way to Ravan's palace, which was so marvelous, too marvelous to be described, it says. And Hanuman saw him buried in sleep, but no trace of the princess of Videha anywhere in the palace. He was looking for Sitama. He then noticed another magnificent mansion with a temple sacred to Hari standing apart. And on that, he saw Prabhu Shri Ram's weapons. The mansion was beautiful again beyond words, as everything in Lanka was. Hanumanji rejoiced to see clusters of fresh tulsi plants there. I will continue with Chaupat. Jai Ram Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Lamka Nisachara Nikara Nivasa, Iham Kaham Sajana Karabasa, Manamahu Taraka Kareim Kapilaga, Tehim Samaya Bibhisu, Tehi Samaya Bibhisanum Jaga. Rama Rama Tehi Sumiran Kinha, Hirdaya Harasa Kapi Sajana Chinha, Tehi Sanahata Karihum Pahichana, Sada Sadhu Tuma Hoi Nakara Jahani, Vipra Rupa Dhari Bhajana Sohani, Sunata Bhibhisana Utitaham Ai, Kara Pranamu Tumchi Kusalai, Vipra Kahahu Nijakata Bujai, Ki Tumahari Dasana Mahu Koi, Morim Hirdaya Pritiyati Hoi, Ki Tumara Mudhina Anuragi, Ahiu Mohi Karana Barabhagi. Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. And so Hanumanji is continuing on his expedition, his discovery, his investigation. He said, Lanka is the abode of a gang of demons. How come the house or the home of a pious man is here? He couldn't believe it. Which means, regardless of how bad things may be and how bad you may think people or bad characteristics they may have had in them, There's always some good. Lanka was a place, as he said, of demons. But here he found someone who worshipped Prabhu Shri Ram. While he was reasoning with him himself, Vibhishan, Ravan's youngest brother, awoke from sleep. And the first thing that he did, what did he do? Chant the name of Prabhu Shri Ram in prayer. Hanuman was just jubilant. He was so happy to recognize a true believer. He thought to himself, I shall become familiar and become friends with him at all costs, he thought. For one's cause would never suffer at the hands of a good man. So he's putting his trust now in Vibhishan. Now, having resolved this in his head, he took the form of a Brahman and approached Vibhishan, as he customarily did throughout the Ramayana in different places. As soon as he heard Hanuman's word, as soon as Vibhishan heard Hanuman's word, he arose and came to him, paying his obeisance as he did. He asked after his well-being, as you typically would welcome someone to your home. And he said, tell me about yourself, O Brahman. Are you one of Hari's own servants? For he recognized him. For the sight of you has filled my heart with exceeding affection for you. Now he's meeting someone for the first time. You know, when they say, boy, my blood really take you. You know, sometimes you meet people and you encounter them in that form and you just hit it off immediately. And other people who, gosh, my blood don't take you at all. So in this case, he has recognized the supreme in Hanumanji. And Vibhishan, being a man of God, a devotee of Prabhu Shri Ram, recognizes him and he is now endeared to him. And so he says, oh, are you Rama himself, a friend of the poor, come to make me greatly blessed? Then Hanumanji told his story, told him his own name and Prabhu Shri Ram's whole story. And while he listened, they both thrilled with joy and lost themselves in the recollection of Ram's infinite virtues. It is just when, you know, you're amongst good people and you have satsang and you just start talking and good things come over you. It's in that same way that they started talking about Prabhu Shri Ram, and they felt so joyous amongst all of the things that were around them. I'll continue with Chaupai. Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Jai Ram Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Sunaho Pavan Sut Rahani Hamari, Jimi Dasanahi Mahu, Jimi Dasanahi, that's wrong, Jimi Dasanahi Mahu Jipi Bichari, Tata Kabah Mohi Jani Anatha, Karahim Kripa Bhanukula Nata, Tamasatuna Kachu Sadhana Nahim, Pritina Padhi Sarojamana Mahim, Abba Mohi Bha Baraso Hanumanta, Bini Hari Kripa Milahim Manahi Samta, Jau Raghuvira Anugraha Kinha, Totama Mohi Darasu Hati Dhinha, Sunaho Vibhishana Prabhu Kairiti, Karahim Sada Sevaka Parapriti, Kahahu Kavanamai Parama Kulina, Kapicham Chala Sabahi Vidhina, Pratale Jo Nama Hamara, Tehi Dinatahina Milei Kahara. Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Rama Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama. And so the Katha continues. He said, listen, this is now Vibhishan speaking. Listen, O son of the wind, I live here like the wretched tongue between the teeth. Meaning that he's always going to get licks, he's always going to get bite, he's always going to get some kind of problem living among the demon race. Will the Lord of the solar race, my friend, ever have mercy upon me as on one who is unprotected? My body is tamasic, under the spell of mode of ignorance and covered by darkness, and I know no meanings of realizing God. I have no means of realizing God, nor does my heart cherish any devotion to the Lord's lotus feet. But now, O Hanuman, now that you are here, I am confident that Prabhu has been gracious to me. For without Hari's favor, there is no meeting with with the saintly. Sorry. It is only because Raghunatha has been kind to me that you, of your own accord, have revealed yourself to me. This is Hanuman speaking now. He says, listen, Vibhishan, the Lord is ever affectionate to his servants, for such is his desire. Tell me, what superior birth can I claim? This is Hanuman saying, now I have the body of a monkey, no merit whatsoever. Why? Anyone who mentions my name in the morning or mentions who I am, what race I belong to, is sure to go fasting the rest of the day. So Hanuman is simply reassuring Vibhishan that, hey, look, man, you have the body of a human being. You have mandir, you have tulsi plant, you have God in your heart. And that is what is important. It doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter what you wear. It doesn't matter how rich you are, how poor you are. The fact that you have him in your heart is all that he requires. I will continue. Sorry, let me just read this dua and I'll continue with Chopra. Asamem adhamasaka suna mohu para raghubir कीन ही कृपा सुमिरी गुना भारे बिलोचन नीर सियापति रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम शंकर हरिओम जय जय सिया राम. So utterly wretched am I. But listen, friend, even to me has Ram shown favor, and his eyes filled with tears as he recalled the Lord's virtue. His eyes, Prabhu Shri Hanuman Baba's eyes filled with tears. Every time he talked about Prabhu Shri Ram, every time the virtues of Prabhu Shri Ram came to his mind, the love that he showed, the love that he had, brought him to tears of joy. And this is the sort of devotion that we all should be aspiring to have when we offer and we pray to Prabhu. I will continue with Chaupai. Jai Ram, Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Janat hu mas Swami Visari, Virahim te kahi na hohim dukari. Ehi vidhi kahat Rama gun grama, Bhava ani bachaya visarama. Puni sab katha Vibhishan kahi, Jahi bhidi janaka suta tamarahi. Tab Hanumanta kaha, Suno Bharat, Dekhi chaham janaki mata. Juguti Bhishana sakala sunai, Chalai pavan sutta bhidha karai. Karasoi rupa gayu punita. A delighted account of the sort of Janak's daughter was living there. Thereupon Hanuman said, "Listen, brother, I would love to see my mother Janaki." When Vibhishan explained to him how he might succeed, Hanuman said farewell and proceeded on his errand. Assuming the same tiny shape he had taken before, he repaired. That's the wrong word. He went on to the Ashoka Grove where Sita Mata dwelt. As soon as he saw her, he made mental obeisance and observed that she had been sitting the whole night through. Emaciated in body, her hair knotted up in a single braid on her head, and was repeating to herself the host of Ram's excellence. And so now he's finally encountered the location of Sita Mata, and he's observing the state that she is in. She is in a state of complete depression. She is so desolate, feeling alone, and we will go into that in a minute. Okay, I made the same mistake. I didn't read the Doha again, but I will do that now. Nija padanayana dhimamana Rama kamala padalin Paramadhuki bhava bhapavana sutta Deki janaki dhin Siyapati Ramachandra ji ki jai Sharanam Shankara Hari Om Jai Jai Siya Ram. And so she is in this state where Hanuman has observed how she is desolate, disconsolate, almost at a stage where she is inconsolable. With her eyes fixed on her own feet, she is mentally absorbed in the contemplation of Ram's lotus feet. This is the only way that she is getting through this torture that she is undergoing. Hanuman, the son of the wind, was mightily distressed to see Sita Ma so stricken with grief. And now, as a devotee, as a bhakt of Prabhu Shri Ram, Hanuman is seeing another of Ram's family in grief, and he is also in distress as a result of that. I have to remember now to read the Doha, so I will try to do that. Continue with Chopar. Jai Ram Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Karupalava Raha Laka. Try that again. Karupalava Mahumbra Dukai, Kariye Bachara Karunka Bahai, Tehi Avasara Ravanu Tahmava, Samganari Bahuki Banava, Bahubhidi Kala Sitahi Samujava, Samadama Bhai Bheda Dekava, Kah Ravana Suno Sunni Ki Sayani, Mamdo Dhari Adi Sabharani, Tava Anuchara Kim Karum Panamora, Ekabara Bimuku Mama Ora, Trinadhari Ota Kahati Vaidehi, Sumiri Avadhapati Paramasane Hi, Sunodha Samudhuka Kadhayota Prakasa, Kabahum Ki Nalini Karei Vikasa, Asamana Sumaju Kahati Janaki, Kala Sudhi Nahi Raghubhira Banaki, Sata Sune Hari Anehi Mohi, Adhamani Laja लाज नहीं तोही। श्री राम जय रामा, जय जय रामा। श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम।